Yes, we've filed with FINRA to review the name change from Cunningham Natural Resources Corp. From Houston Natural Resources Corp., which is the Nevada Corporation, and Houston Natural Resources Corp. is now being changed, legally it's been changed to Cunningham Natural Resources Corp., but is being reviewed by FINRA for a name change, for a symbol change, and for a CUSIP change. And we're still waiting on that review to be completed.
Okay, perfect. Well, Frank, I'm going to give you the floor so you can go through your presentation, and we have questions for you at the end, so call me back when you're ready for those.
Great, thank you, Anna, I appreciate it.
Yes.
Okay, with the presentation that we have of the Cunningham Natural Resources presentation to the Emerging Growth Conference, we have our first slide there, which is of our disclaimer, which is standard for our presentation today. Our key investment highlights is that we are focused on the traditional oil and gas opportunities and energy transition materials, including mining opportunities in copper, lithium, gold, as well as other precious and rare earth minerals. The investment focus will be global, with sustainability at the core of the strategy. As we've mentioned before, we've completed the acquisition of Cunningham Energy. We've got a proven management team with more than 70 years of experience combined. We have an unlevered balance sheet with minimum debt. We are a diversified energy company. We also have transactions pending. We've made an investment in an energy SPAC, HNRA Acquisition Corp. Symbol is HNRA on the New York Stock Exchange, and that has a pending transaction for a D-SPAC, looking to maybe complete that later this year. We're excited about that opportunity, and it has taken a little bit longer than we had anticipated, but we still believe the strategy has been correct, and that will be shown out in the near future. The Canadian company that we have a transaction with through Rhino Energy is a junior energy company and has also exciting opportunities for us to be able to do further development in that region. We have a pending transaction with the copper mining company. We're excited about that because it is a mining company, a copper mining company that's actually producing. And so we've got revenue based on its existing operations, in addition to having significant reserves. And copper is one of those elements and materials that are needed in the energy transition as well. We're looking at pending acquisitions in the oil and services business as well. And we hopefully expect some announcements of that in the near future. Our portfolio companies that are outlined in the slide there, and we've got some background on Cunningham Energy, which was originally founded in 2008 for the purpose of acquiring, exploring, and producing oil and gas in Appalachian, Illinois, and the Williston Basins. Cunningham Energy owns approximately 600 wells, 170 are reworks with a 98% successful completion rate. They are the pioneer of shallow horizontal oil drilling in West Virginia starting in 2014. So they've got approximately 30,000 net acres under in numerous transactions through the Appalachian Basin. With the valuation, we're proposing up to 68 well drilling.
Yeah, I'm here. Let me just hang on.
Years, and expect that to be
and we're
in
there.
2024.
Trying to turn off my.
Into production.
There we go. You should be on.
All right, let me merge everybody in. Hold on a second. All right, everybody. I have William on the line. William, you there?
I'm here.
All right. Again, this is not to buy or sell. This is an update on security fraud, day, whatever you want to call it. All right. So this morning, the stock has the same pattern again. What they are doing is trying to obviously try to mark it down, but they are crushing pieces of stock and returning stock that they have borrowed. And you say, okay, how are they doing that if no one's selling? Well, these guys are 100% the short that's borrowing the shares is tied to the naked short. They're working in cahoots or together. All right, because the naked short is providing more shares to cover these guys so they can return their shares. Because the naked short knows if these guys start buying it in and get forced, they're going to kill them. So they're trying to play games as much as they can. And you can see the offers, they just keep coming in with 5,000 and 8,000. It's the same pattern. And then all of a sudden you'll see a big trade and the bids all drop. They're working together. All they're trying to do is get people to come out of it. No one's falling for it. Everyone's educated on it. I know a couple of people standing here accumulating on any dips. Accumulate, buy the dips, sell the rips. That's the old saying on Wall Street. All right. So again, could this be considered the dip? Then you have to make that decision yourself. All right. There's no selling in this stock. You can see they just put an offer at 585, and then that's the spoof, and then they go in front of it for 200 shares. All right. So obviously it's the short working together, just trying to lower it down. That's all they're trying to do, and they want you to sell. It's the same pattern for days and days and days. William, I put up a little statistic before. Our 90-day average 5 in stocks $1.1 million. So 60% of this is naked shorted. You're talking, 54 million shares in 90 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I did the math correct.
Mm-hmm.
Am I close, William?
I don't know. I'm not good on arithmetic.
All right. 600,000 shares a day for 90 days is 54 million shares, I believe. So again, it's a big number. That's just in 90 days. And the number just grows and grows and grows. Again, where they're going, I don't know what they're doing. They're just trying to stay alive. For how long? I don't know. I told everyone yesterday, someone spoke with their company's IR guy, and he reported to me that the company's cash flow positive right now. So for all those doubters who said the company couldn't get there, they are there, and they're in the black. So again, where are you going? Fundamentally, to me, the company's sound. Do your own due diligence on that. And William, I decided last night, and I was laying in bed thinking, and all of a sudden it hit me. We have to
You're
put
going to play left-handed from now on?
No, that we're going to put the truck in front of the Secret Service building. They want to know counterfeiters. Let's bring the
Hey,
crooks to the Secret Service. Why not?
They can
right?
keep a secret.
Right. From what I gathered, that they're interested in this field. So we might as well drop the names of our superstars right at their door. So I'll get someone to start working on the slide presentation, and we'll get it up on Twitter and see what everybody thinks of it. But let's bring them to the Secret Service. Why not? Let's get on the front of the line. We'll be aggressive, show them who they are. And when they come out, we'll get answers from the Secret Service. Forget the SEC. We'll let them know that we've called the police. That'll be part of our slogan, was that we called the SEC 12 times. We called them 12 times, and so we got tired of calling them. We're calling you now. So we'll go that direction. I just wanted to buy the dips, blah blah blah, accumulation, wash trades to return the shares. I told you that they're working together, the naked short and the real short, because they're actually selling shares to the naked short who's returning it. And someone posted to me that the shares are actually growing to lend and the rate is dropping. So that's the sign that they're returning shares. It's not a lot, but they're doing something, right? They have to make a move because they have to return the shares. So I guess this is their way of doing it. And they're trying to do it, I don't know, down 15 cents, 10 cents. It's amazing how the stock just gets waves of selling and selling and selling and selling and sell. It just doesn't stop. Whatever amount it is, 200, 100, whatever it is. They just dropped the offer, William, from 84 to 83 shares, 83 cents for 100 shares. All right, so this is their way of trying to move it down. And I can't believe this is a computer doing this. This has got to be an idiot doing this. The computer would get up and walk out. This is so stupid. All right, this is dummy trading. They're spoofing, canceling. There's no computer doing this. This is some idiot sitting in a cave somewhere, just moving markets, like the Kramers used to do with Vertical Group. For those who don't know, the Kramers and GTI were using market makers to do the same pattern, the same trading. It's the same thing. All right. This is more interesting only because we have a tremendous fundamental story behind it. And they really, they tried their best with the fake stories, everything going on, and nothing's working. All right. And people are catching wind of this whole thing now. And the volume drying up is a good thing. Sideways trading, William, is good for the investors.
Yeah.
It's bad for the shorts. All they do is pay fees and fees. They keep getting eaten alive by the fees. Wall Street, no one allows them to play the game for free. All right, so every day these guys are losing money. And like I said, to borrow 3.3 million shares has cost them a nickel a day.
Yeah.
All right, so 5 cents a day, 25 cents a week, $1 a month. They add the other fees on top of it. So if they're short at 5 in 1 month, the most they can make is 4 because they spent $1. The next month, the most they can make is 3 because they spent $1. Those fees do not go away. And you can see what happens when those fees get a hold of you. It sort of squeezes them to death. And that's what you're seeing. And the real short has got the fear of God in the naked short, because when he panics, the naked short's going to get run over too. So again, they're both tied together. And I'm sure they're in a panic trying to figure out a way to get stock from one account to the other. And that's what I could see on this side. As far as I was looking for the story about that guy Hancock, showing that he was up 220% in his Lynn Global Fund. And everything that Lynn invested in is basically washed out. So there's nowhere to make money like that. And again, he should be with Warren Buffett on the cover in the Wall Street Journal, 220% for the year. All these funds are fighting to make 10%. This guy's up 220%, and he's not on the cover of every magazine. Obviously, he's trying to hide his little windfall, and the guy from Australia let the cat out of the bag, bragging about it. Okay, not thinking that anyone in the U.S. would read up and catch his little headline that he's up 220%. So there's a little tidbit on how to follow the criminals and how much money they are stealing. All right, they're not making, they're stealing. Do you have any quick questions, William? Or?
Yeah, I get a repeated question all the time, and I'm just going to ask it. If you were to request of Finger the Nobo list, would it reflect all of the short position?
No, I had this question last night at dinner. No. Again, just look at.
I'm being told that all you have to do, ask for the Nobo list. There's no way there's anywhere near this many shares short in Finger. It's all legitimate selling. And I came back and said, I don't believe you, but then I got it. I didn't know how to answer it. So that's why I'm asking you.
Well, then he knows better. So it's all legitimate selling every day. It's all legitimate selling.
Right.
We got it. We're all crazy. We called the SEC. We let them all know. And the SEC's got us.
Well, I just wonder, why would the hedge funds who become the buyer, the LLCs that become the buyers of the fake shares as they move it down the daisy chain, why would they sign the Nobo list? I don't think they would. But anyway, all right. There's no real answer there.
The answer is that the DTC has the list of shareholders. That's all everybody knows.
Right.
No one knows what the brokerage firms own. So the gentleman who's posing that question is just a stooge trying to get people to say that there's this legitimate selling every day. Every day. People sell it from 6 down to 4.5 as fast as they can. That's it. There's no short selling. The reported short is 3.3 million. We didn't make it up. There's the proof right there. Where's that coming from, my friend? Right?
Right.
We didn't make that up. It's right there. That's legitimate, proving. It's right there, proof.
Right.
The rate was 300%. They were trying to borrow whatever they can, trying to hold the stock down. But this Putz thinks that short selling this is all legitimate selling. It just shows you 3 million of it.
Well, he thinks there were so many private placements in Finger that when you sell from China, it shows up as failed to deliver. But by this time the shares are delivered, it's not reflected in the numbers.
The gentleman that knows so much, go look at the DTC, come back with that number, okay? And remember, it all has to go through the DTC. If there's only 24 million shares at the DTC, your private placement theory is out the window. And from the people that I met in Asia, they all believe this company is worth 100. And you're telling me they're sneaking out at 5? The stock was listed on the NASDAQ at 9. The revenue is exploding. And you think the people in Asia are running? When we use the term, he's going to use the term, they're backdooring the stock. That's what they're doing. That is a putz that's asking stupid questions.
What do you think you said 24 million at DTCC. What do you think, just using your memory, which is amazing for trading, how many shares of stock have been sold over the last 60 days of Finger?
90 days, it's been 1.1 million, so it's over 90 million in 90 days.
90 million in 90 days. There's only 24 million at the DTCC. But if we got the FOBO list, we'd find out those 90 million shares exist.
So tell him to get the list, and don't get the list of the DTC. I'm not the company. Go get it. I'm telling you that I work with companies, and it doesn't show if people are missing. It just shows the whole thing. So then you have to get a lawyer like Wes Christian and try to attack everybody, and it takes years and time and money to do that. So he's just trying to drag people to a different location. And it's just total nonsense.
And then the shorts continue to sell.
And the shorts continue to sell, trying to mark it down.
They just continue. They've got a perfect scheme up. All they have to do, distract and sell, distract and sell.
That's all they want to do. And then they try to hope that people give up. Like they said, it was the 88 offer, moved to 85, then to 84. Now they got it down to 80. The bids keep dropping. There's no volume. And then you'll see a print. A print will come in, and that will say basically that's the washed or prearranged trade. So for the gentleman that talks about the NOBO, he's got to be professional. He knows about the NOBO list and how that shows everything. Buddy, this has been going on a long time. You can take the NOBO list and stick it up your ass. It means nothing. It's all fraud. Get over with already. We all know it. The cat's out of the bag. Twist it any way you want. The board of directors, the company, the private placement people are all backdooring stock. Everyone's a bad guy. And the short sellers are all angels. Good luck. That's an old, the company, we dragged the company, the shareholders dragged the company in front of the SEC 12 times, calling the cops. If there was a problem with the company, I'm sure the SEC would have looked into it already and say, oh my God, these guys are all backdooring the stock because this idiot thinks that that's what they're doing. It's a private placement. How about a private placement that the company raised money with shareholders that believe in the company? Oh my God, that can never happen. This is the United States of America. We don't believe in anything. We sell everything. You know what? People believe in things. People that invested in Apple, all right, or Amazon in the beginning, or Facebook, how much money did they make? Because they believed in what they see, and the company's doing the right thing. Right? You wish you owned one of those. All right, so take your nonsense and get lost.
So there's 24 million shares at the DTCC. Let me ask the question a different way. How many shareholders do you know, and how many shares do they own, and have they loaned it out, or are they selling?
Everyone I know, no one's loaned out a share, to zero.
Right.
I spoke to a guy yesterday, has 4 million shares, nothing. He actually said it's a brilliant idea to loan out your shares and then call them in, because he did that once before and the stock went up 5-fold. And that's the shorts borrowing the shares, and then they say, hey, you know what, something, give it back. And that's how you kill them. He said that was a brilliant idea. And the story is that Univest has done that, and they're demanding the stock back. So I don't know how long the lag time between them, when they get run over, I don't know. I hope it's in 30 seconds. But the volume, the amount of selling by the thieves has slowed down a lot. You see this little manipulation right now. Okay, we've seen it yesterday. As soon as it gets up a little bit, they move it back down. It's just the stock. At some points, it looks normal, and then the next 10 minutes, it looks like we're back to fraud 101. Okay, every time it got over 6, they push it right down. Like, again, what's the number 6 mean? And for the bozo that just called in, if they thought they can win, let the stock go higher, right? It will fail if the fundamentals of the company are no good. It always works that way. But that's what real shorts. What we're dealing with are criminals. They sold too many shares, and they can't let the stock go up because of margin. It's very easy. We can all see it, and it's the same pattern every day. I told everyone before, the bashes, the shorts, they should be throwing the longs a party for buying the stock and taking it up. Right? What is it? They'd rather have the stock at 70 cents, right? Because if you're going to sell more shares, wouldn't you want to sell it at $7, $8, $9, $10, not 70 cents? That's the fraud right there. They have to move it down because they can't maintain the position up there. That's why you see these quick attacks. It's pretty easy. There's nothing more. It's the same pattern every day. I'm tired of saying it.
All right. I found one of the articles that John Hancock rides Lynn Partners roller coaster. This was from May of 2005. When Gina Reinhardt's strange son, John Hancock, joined New York-based alternative asset manager Lynn Partners as senior advisor in April of last year, his altruistic ambition was to introduce foreign capital to Australia's neglected mining sector.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he's destroyed. He stole all the assets there too. That's what they did.
Small companies can sometimes become big companies. They just need a little help along the way, he said. While some companies have prospered from Lynn's helping hand, extended through its secretive Delaware registered partnership, the Australian Special Opportunity Fund, others like electronic ballistics company and Hall of Corporate Infamy candidate Metalstorm are embroiled in court proceedings and probably regret ever having heard the word Lind.
That was 2005.
That's 2005. But Jeff Friesen calls up the CEO of one of the companies he destroys. It's not me. I'm not doing it.
I met a gentleman last night that had drinks with Jeffrey Easton a while ago. He said the guy's a complete slime ball, and he said 100% he's behind all this naked short selling. 100%. That's what he said.
Well, there's one CEO who's friends with him. But, no accounting for when you fall in love and when you're friends with someone, you overlook the bad things. But he is a slime ball.
Listen, the SEC allows these guys to go out there and just slaughter companies, and it's like no big deal. We stepped up to stop the fraud, and everybody's got their balls twisted. Okay? What are you doing? They're pumping, they're doing this, they're doing that. Listen, just show us a number. If we're wrong, we'll go away. But no one's stepping
I'll
up.
just get the NOBO list. It'll be proven right there. Just get it.
Yeah,
and then,
the
it'll
list,
be
right.
proven. And then we'll know that the 90 million you said sold. Yeah, it's all normal. It's all normal.
Right. It's all normal.
They're just turning finger into a commodity, trading it back and throwing it back and forth like a football and making money. Hey, what's wrong with that? So in exchange of emails, Hancock says he understands the difficulties that companies face in attracting capital required to achieve their milestones. Of course, it can be higher risk area of financing, but the fund provides Australian companies with an option on the table in transition or challenging periods. The main driver of Lind is founder and joint managing director Jeff Easton, a veteran of about 50 funding deals. Oh, it's not me. I'm not doing it.
50 funding deals.
50 funding deals this 15 years ago for small to mid-cap Australian companies since 2009. One of Easton's calling cards is a front page profile in the Wall Street Journal. Yay, if it's not for journalism, where would we be? Which mentions his profile on the Lind website, albeit without any reference to its content. The 1999 article actually portrays Jeff Easton as a hyperactive day trader, buying and selling nothing but Yahoo stock over a 9-month period. What a genius. Described as a good-natured man of 27 with a thin goatee and a massive gut. No, I made that up. A thin goatee and droopy jeans.
He basically said in his story he traded Yahoo stock back and forth
for 9 months.
Yeah, right. You got his ass kicked doing that.
He was trading nearly 1% of Yahoo's daily volume, despite he and his day trader mates operating in, quote, blithe ignorance of the targeted company's revenue, profit, news development, or strategy. The real target, according to the Wall Street Journal, was to take on the market makers, Wall Street firms like Goldman Sachs, and get ahead of them as they bought and sold the stock in large licks. Wait a minute, front running? Cheating?
He's front running. That was his business model?
Those were the days. Since then, Easton has come up through the ranks. What a good man, Easton. He's come up through the ranks of funds management industry, starting Lind in 2009. While Lind is understood to have sought funds from family offices and institutional investors in Australia, Easton is cagey. Of course he is. He's a liar. Easton is cagey, saying the details of the firm's investor base are confidential, as are its assets under management. The fund's accounts for the year 2013, small operation, total assets of 9.2 million US.
So while we're talking, as you're talking, they just keep trying to move the stock down and crossing stock. I think they just crossed another, went from 269 to almost 290. And now they offered 4,800 at 575. So there's no bid all the time. And the offer just keeps coming down, offer it lower. That's the same pattern. And they just want people to panic out. Right now we're up to 292. They're just printing stock now back and forth. Anyway, it is what it is. I always tell people accumulation. Again, we can't win this game without the regulators or the company doing something. And the company's doing their part. And the short sellers are trying to, like that gentleman who called it before, the buffoon. The company is backdooring stock every day. No big deal. That's what's going on here. That's what they want you to believe. That's it.
Whoever that CEO is mollycoddling Jeffrey Easton, the guy has been destroying companies for 15 years.
Right.
He destroyed your company, but you're blind to it. You're blind to
it. Right. Listen, no one have a winning streak like this. I told you, he's got better returns than Warren Buffett. Put him on TV, show everybody your returns. Why isn't he out there raising $1 trillion? He should be the biggest money manager in creation.
Hey, he can flip Yahoo 1% of it. Can you imagine how great he is? He can trade 1% of Yahoo's volume for 9
There's
months.
No way. No way. It's impossible.
I can't
No
believe
way.
I can't believe a journalist would see that as even having any value.
And there's no value to that quote at all. It's impossible that this guy is 1% of the volume. Buy 50,000, sell 50,000, buy 100, sell 100, on the same spot all day long as he front runs. He's front running buy orders. What was he doing? Front running? That's what he said, right?
It's like that's like Rodney Dangerfield when he was telling Johnny Carson about the guy who killed his family. He said they're all the same. When you ask him, he was a quiet man. He was a good man. He was a kind man. That's Jeff Easton.
They just put a print on somewhere around 70 something cents or whatever. It's 570 something. The bid's 565. I'm up to 308 now. They're just trying to create volume and drop the bids. And then a bid shows up and everybody runs it. The whole game changes. These are all pre-arranged trades. Now there's 18,000 at 570 and no bid. So they're doing the old parade where sellers. That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
And it's the same pattern every day, the same thing. Now it's up to 314. So again, another big trade goes off. And I guarantee you that the number of shares will be popping back up on the return to the stock loan people because they can't pay those fees. So the borrow rate will drop. Shares will be popping up. You'll see there's 250,000. That all of a sudden the number of shares that are offered to borrow will go up because they're washing these trades with the naked short. They are 100% working together. This is an effort by two groups trying to move a naked short, a real short, cover it, and give it to the naked short.
But that's all legitimate, right? It'd show up in the NOBO list, and those would be settled trades.
The NOBO list, right? Every company.
When they cross those, that's a settlement, so that doesn't show up in Tom Ronk's numbers.
Right.
So his numbers are wrong. You just got to allow that they can move it from one LLC to the other LLC to the other LLC endlessly, but that's normal. There's systems in place.
Right. The whole thing is a complete scam.
Let me ask you something over the last 90 days. Have you seen any covering of stock in finger motion?
Nope, zero. Here's today. If I was short, why wouldn't I be covering on the dip here? There's 20,000 offered at 570. Why wouldn't I buy some back? Right? They don't cover. It was offered at 570, William. And guess what they did? It was 17,000 offered at 570. That's the spoof. And now they offer 11.
Let me ask you a different question. If all of the private placements, all the stock adds up to 52 million, there's only 24 million shares at the DTC, but the total outstanding is 52 million. You've seen 90 million sold over the last 90 days. Is it because there's been selling and then buying back? Or are they just selling stock that, I don't know, somehow they've located stock for 40 million beyond what exists?
So they just crossed 17,000 at 570. And then the offer disappeared, but then it just came back with 10,000 more at 570. So that will trade shortly. And this is them covering the real short. That's what they're doing. They're covering the real short, and the naked short is out there offering it. And they're basically, it's his job to go out there and take it to try to cover it because he has to return these shares. And that tells you how close they are to folding, because they're in a panic that they're trying to, it's so blatant that what they're doing today, trying to cross shares at a certain spot. And that's it. They're trying to create volume to the downside, wash the trades, have an idiot call up and tell everybody it's easy, just get the NOBO list. Every CEO, everyone says the same thing. Since I've been doing it for 20-something years, they said, check this NOBO list. You should be able to get your answers there. Yeah, sure. Half the people are. And there goes your print at 570. That's gone. So the real short is scooping up shares from the naked short. And we all have to sit there and watch the fraud go back.
But the naked short located shares. I mean, you have no proof they're actually selling stock that doesn't exist.
Oh, yes, I do. my eyesight, while it may not be great at reading a restaurant menu, I can tell you in stock quotations and trading exactly what they're doing because I've been doing it for 40 years. So for the jerk off that called up, take a walk. You're a novice, you're a liar, and get out of here. Don't fall for those idiots, William. Stop listening to them.
I'll
Just
start.
block them. Just write back to them. Just tell them point blank, you're an idiot, get lost. Call it.
So how much? I got to be careful. I guess I got to be careful. I was going to ask you if you met with any investors recently, and if you can talk about it, but I'm not sure you
I
can.
told you, I met a guy last night that had drinks with Jeffrey Easton in his office. He went in his other office and had drinks with him for 2 hours. He said the guy's a complete dirtbag. That was his answer. I said, okay, there you go. Because he's absolutely behind all this stuff. That's what his, and that's him having drinks with the guy, and I guess whatever his tone of his language is, he said that absolutely this guy is 100% tied to this nonsense. He's a sleazeball. That was his terms.
A wealthy sleazeball.
Well, he said he was a sleazeball. We didn't discuss money, but I said, nice. I said that. Listen, I don't know why the guy robbed 50 companies. He probably stole $100 million and he wants more. He belongs in jail. All right? How much more do you want to steal? Give me a break. They all think they're going to become Warren Buffett. They're the richest man in the world doing this stuff.
And
So
you
now
said,
with no trades, William, it was 569 to 570 something. All of a sudden, it's 563 to 569 on no trades.
and you said you saw, or somebody else saw, Gary Gensler stop and read the truck with Jeffrey Easton's.
Mark Bazile was right there.
Yeah.
He took a photo of it. He questioned him about it. He saw him stop. Him and his buddy saw him stop in his car and read the truck sign. Absolutely, fact.
So could the SEC start looking at Jeff Easton because of that?
My personal opinion is I believe that they're looking at these characters. I do believe it. I think this is so blatant, so obvious, and we abuse them so much they have no choice. But again, I don't know how long the investigation takes. Someone put up real Scott Dodge and put up that Jeffrey Easton and Lynn Partners has been tied to Savvy Management, a lot of deals. So it's the same group of thugs looting people together.
These are important people for Gary Gensler to protect.
But protect, he caught the one guy already.
Yeah, but Savvy's still walking around in Florida. I'm not.
That's exactly right. You know, he belongs in jail. The DOJ should be absolutely taking all his assets. Prove where you made your money from. He can't do it. You just stole it. And that's all you can say about that. Again, what you're seeing, people, is just it's just a shuffling of the chairs on the Titanic. They're moving the short from one position to the other, trying to manipulate the stock down to get people to sell. There is no trade going on except for when the short does his little magic and rolling a position. All right, you just watched them roll 30,000 shares at 570. All right, these are the type of things you keep an eye on. So again, when the volume comes out today and the short position says it's 62%, taking away the wash trades, the volume comes down and the percentage of shorts go up. So that's what I try to take into account when they do the wash trades, because that takes away volume, but increases the percentage of short. So 62% is really 80%. And that's what you're going to see today. And here it is. They just dropped all the bids and they printed it again. I don't know how much they just printed, a big print around 557. We're up to 393 now. So maybe another 10, 15,000 down here. And they just keep printing and printing big blocks. And it's hurry, and it's just sell, 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 sell. And that just shows you the desperation. Where are they going? I don't know. They're just trying to scare people out. And I get it. People get scared out. I got it. But where one person gets scared out, it's an opportunity for someone else. And William, now they got 9,100 at 560. We're at 400,000 shares at 1130 something. And I can guarantee you the 560 trade will trade shortly. And that's another wash trade. That's what they're doing. They're putting, it's 500 to buy, 9,300 to sell. And no one's hitting the 557 bid, William. Not one share. All right. Oh, but I'm wrong. They just knocked it out. And they put 5,900 at 57. So everybody wants to sell.
When do you think these legitimate shares that are available, when do you think they'll run out of these shares to sell?
I said they just crossed 8,000 here at 555. So you can see that these are all prearranged, bigger trades than normal. All right, you can just see it. You can see the pattern. It's the same pattern.
Yeah.
Accumulation, just like I told you, accumulation, never chase it. If you buy half, buy a percentage, bid for the next piece because they keep doing it. Yeah. All right. We know the company's cash flow positive. Okay. We heard it from our guy yesterday. I told you a shareholder called up and told me that. And where the race to try to push it down is for one reason, is because they're choking to death. And here it is now. There's 20,000 off it at 555, William. Have anyone seen the pattern as we're on the phone? 10,000, 8,000, 20,000. Everybody wants to sell all these big positions at the market lower. 20,000 down from 6. If you do the math, 20 times 50, a $10,000 loss just because you want to sell it lower as fast as you can. Again, these are fraud trades. They'll wash it shortly, cross it, because they have to return those shares. And you'll see the volumes going up. And right now, I can tell you, based on what I see, 414 is the volume. It's 1128. Now there's 23,000 off it at 555. That additive, they just crossed another big piece. We're up to 450,000. Out of this volume, I would say 60%, 240,000 of the shares is basically fake already. By 1138, over 200,000 shares easily is fake trades. There's another big trade. Now we're at 465, another 10,000. Everything's a big block, and all of a sudden it's all trading to the downside. All right, so I've given you a recap, play-by-play of security fraud. I've done it for 40 minutes already. From 6 down, it's the same pattern. Now the trade, that was just the 20, whatever that number was, it just traded, William, at 555. It's all gone. Now it's 555 bid, and we're up to 487 now. 487. I told you that this volume is 60% of it is fake. So at 500,000 shares, which will be out in a few seconds, is 300,000 is crossed and washed trades. And that proves that the naked short is working with the real short in cahoots. Because how did these guys both know that one of them had to buy and one of them needs to sell today at the same time? Think about that. And the naked short was nice enough to knock it down so that the real short can cover without really losing money. Isn't that strange, William, how that happened?
It's strange.
Let me sell it down for you, William, so you don't lose a lot of money because you have to cover. So I'll sell it down for you today. I'll do it between 10 and 12 o'clock.
I just want you to cleanse. I want you to cleanse all the excitement out of the stock for me. Do me that favor of cleaning the market.
Just think about what I just told you. The real short has to cover, and the naked short is nice enough to sell it lower so that they can cover without losing a lot of money. Well, that tells you 100% that they're working together. The real short. So if the federal authorities are listening, pick up the real short, and in 30 seconds, he'll point the finger to the naked short because they are working together. And I'm sure all these cross trades are going from one account to the other. No one in the middle. It's just these two characters going back and forth. They're going to call them up. I'm going to put 30,000 out there, 565 in a little while. And you do is I'll put it out there and you cross it. Here it is. It's 564, 2,000 now. So again, you'll start seeing the real shorts scooping up any big size and they're washing it. And, you know, that's it. So there's nothing much more to say. We have to live with this nonsense. This is the U.S. equity market. And again, if you're not involved, if you have nothing to do with the equity markets, and you have the opportunity, run away because you're watching is complete fraudulent activity. You're watching it that we can pinpoint it for you in real time. And for the gentleman that called up with the stupid no-bo list, we've been doing this for over 3 years, not 2 hours, 3 years. Okay, I think we know what we see. We're not dumb. We have, I can't tell you how many professionals are on my side here watching the stock. All right, it's enormous on our side here. So again, here it was at 564, and they just dropped down. Williams, someone has to sell 400 shares at 557. They didn't sell it at 565, 63, 62, 560. Put it down at 557. And then all the bids disappear. It's the same pattern. This is not a computer. This is a trader manipulating.
Is this the guy that traded Yahoo for a living?
Yeah. So it went from 550 something bid to 549 with no trade. Drop the bids. Drop the bids. Hurry up. No trades. Just drop the bids. Because investors do not buy stock every second. This isn't Netflix. This isn't NVIDIA. This is a small cap NASDAQ company. Buyers come in and out. Yes, that's true. But when there's no buyers there, you can see the manipulation. Oh my God, there's an air pocket. Let's create that volatility. So the stock has moved back and forth, William, without a trade. It was down to 540, 49, back up to 550, no trades. All the bids, the markets are moving all over the place. This is like high speed trading, but nothing's trading. I told you before, they need to create volatility. They're trying to create volatility. There is no selling. Investors aren't selling. So we went from 550 to 554. Now it's 553 to 559, and not a share traded. We're still at 598, and now it's trading at 5. Listen, this is, I'm repeating it because this is like a monkey doing this stuff. This is not someone with a brain, right? This is manipulation 101. The SEC's a disgrace. The FBI, the DOJ, they should be grabbing these guys by their hair. Okay, now the 559 is gone. It's at 560, and we're still at 598, 178. Nothing's traded. 100 shares is traded. I'm sorry, William. I've missed 100 share lot. I can call this, and here it is. It was offered at 560. That disappeared, and we're still about 498, 200. This is only 100 shares traded, and all the markets changed with no trades. No trades at all. Again, I told you 60% of the 500,000 shares traded today are fake. 100% fake, washed trades between the short and the real short. All right, any other questions? Because this is getting repetitive and this is a waste of my time. If you can't see this, just mark the numbers down. You could see it, educate yourself, because what you see here, in whatever name you're playing, they do the same tricks. All right, the difference is this company has fundamentals and is fundamentally sound, and they picked the wrong stock, okay, to go against. All right, and now they have a huge problem. All right, I can see them shooting other stocks that have big naked shorts, going after GTII, which is not as fundamentally strong. They go after CBM because they need money to fight cancer, or Northwest Bio. They do those They go after those companies because they always need money. That's the reason. MULN, the guy's made a car. He needs money. Keep killing the stock. I mean, that's what they do. But in finger motion, it's proven that they don't need the money, and now they have a serious problem. All right. As each day that goes on, the company's closer to releasing the next news quarter or releasing whatever else they got up their sleeve, right? So again, where are they going? The payday here is, unfortunately, we have to wait for when they fold or a regulator knocks on the door. I do believe there's got to be some news on that front. The DOJ said they're going after the shorts. I expect that shortly also. All right, so there's things coming up, the movie, the DOJ, the SEC, we'll put the truck in. We're going to let Lynn Partners and the Secret Service know all about Lynn Partners and the counterfeiting ring that they looted U.S. public companies and investors out of billions of dollars. And our good friend in Australia has been collecting plenty of money as part of this crime. All right, William, listen, I'm going to let you go. I got things to do. I'll continue watching this nonsense. I have a conference call with some people at 12 o'clock. And
well, thanks for your energy and that you don't quit. They count on you quitting, and you never do. So thank you.
Oh, I'm not going to quit. Get out of it. Listen, the dope that called up today trying to give misinformation. Okay, listen, guys. This is a little trick that people need to understand. I haven't said it. You have to be careful of the longs, people that pretend that they're investors and they're really the shorts. All right, this is a way for them to get in here and give misinformation. You can tell by their language what they are. It's a pump, it's a dump, it's a scam, a bloated pig. These are all the terms that the bastards use. They use the same terminology all the time. None of them have any fundamental stories. If they can sit there and say, well, their fundamentals, in China, no one's going to buy cell phones, whatever it may be. At least come back with that. They can't even come up with a story. They're just making up numbers. They're just throwing any shit at the wall they can to try to get people to sell the stock. And, we've been standing at 498. There's another 2,000 traded with 502. 502, and I told you before, 60% of this volume is fake. So, at 500, that's 300,000 you could take off. The real volume is 202,000, in which the naked short has contributed probably 80% of that. But there is no selling. It's 558, 100 shares by 560, and nothing's trading. And the stock is down 39 cents. So you would think if someone was nervous, they would sell it, but there is none. It comes down to when they want to cross something, and that's the trade. Otherwise, it's parked and doing nothing. All right, listen, I have to run, William. Have a great day. Go take your dog for a walk. Go outside. It looks nice out. And we'll speak later. If I have something to say, I'll call you up, William. We'll get it going. All right?
All right. Thank you.
Have a good day. You got it.
Call ended.
All right, guys. Dave M. Retail getting shafted again. She took the elevator. You're getting the shaft. Let's just go through some of these. Look, guys, I've been going through it here. I cannot find any evidence that a record date has been given for Logic. I'm going through the proxy page by page, but you shouldn't have to. It should be in bold print what the record date is. But I think on information I have and belief that the record date for Logic has already passed. So that means, but it should be out there. I shouldn't have to guess. I'm going to keep going through it a little bit at a page at a time. a page at a time and just see if I can find it in the proxy. The proxy is, I don't know, 180 pages. I've gone through it before. I checked the definitions for record date before. I looked for record date before. I'm looking for it again. And I don't see any effing record date. So anyway, that's one thing. The other thing is I looked into the ASPA that was being distributed at Schwab and other places. It looks like the distribution isn't going to be 1 for 9 1/4 shares. It's going to be 1 for 12. So that financing that Brent signed is dilutive. It is going to hurt us. And it is going to take the value, as I warned at some point. I haven't spoken directly to him. It takes the out of the gate value down from $1. I mean, roughly, it takes the very rough number. You take 114 million is the acquisition price of DataLogic, and instead of dividing it by the 105 million shares outstanding, you have to take into account the financing they did with the two friends of the board member, Peter Bourdays. There are no friends on Wall Street. They're all dilutive jerks. Anyway, you have to divide that by 132 million shares. So it comes down to 86 cents. So instead of $1, well, let's just remember that, 86 cents. Out of the gate, it would have been $1.08. It's 86 cents for sure. Definitely not the higher number that I told you the other day at 9 1/4. It's not $1.08 out of the gate. It's 86 cents because of the financing that friends did to help the company out. That 1 for 12 is a huge black eye. It's a huge black eye. Now, I said that. The good news is, and there is good news, the good news is that's the out of the gate price based on $10 a share. Let's just see if CAUD is trading at all. It might be. No. So anyway, the good news is that number of 86 cents, if you assume that you just use ASPA's trading price right now, is $27. So you use 11,400,000 shares times 27 divided by 132. That works out to $2.33 a share. So I can't hide the fact that I think it was a blunder to reduce the distribution of DLQ from 1 share for every 9 you have to 1 share for every 12. I'm not going to hide it. I think that's a blunder. But based on the trading in ASPA, it's actually, if ceteris paribus, it's worth $2.33 a share right now to each of us. So somewhere in there is the tail. And I just don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you because I can't get a hold of anybody. But as far as I can tell, in my entire experience, which probably has no value at all when you have geniuses like Jeff Easton ruling the roost and wussies like Gary Gensler being the cop on the beat. You can spell wussy with another letter if you want. But after a vote comes a record date. And I'll tell you what, I will pursue that with the SEC. I'll call in and find out what the hell went on. Because what it takes from you is an opportunity to buy the stock and potentially have the stock run up. But it should not be opaque. It should be clear. This opens up all sorts of questions of who's trading and who's being advantaged. I know that's not good English. It may be from the Aubrey SPAC side, but shame on these guys. Shame on Brent. Shame on Peter Bordes. Shame on Aubrey SPAC. Shame on them. Where is the record date announced? But anyway, it's worth more. Luckily, it's worth more than my original estimate by far. Let me just keep looking quickly to see if I can. I was told today that the record date was intimated in the proxy statement. Well, that's not good enough. It's not good enough. If lawyers didn't put it out, lawyers should be, shame on them. Shame on them. All right, so the vote, it's very confusing. The Aubrey SPAC deal, to redeem Aubrey SPAC, you had to be a shareholder, but that's for redeeming Aubrey SPAC. Vote for approval. Okay, proposal number 2. That's the reverse stock split. Proposal number 1. Okay. Vote required for approval. Okay, we got that vote approved. Okay. Recommending seeking stockholder approval on September 25. Okay, September 25. Well, I can't find a record date here. And that's not good enough. It has to be black and white. It can't be buried. It's got to be black and white. This is a complete failure on the part of data logic, and ASPA. Okay, let's see. What's this? Business combination. Doesn't. I mean, I may be missing it. This is where I need Rebecca to help me. She's the best. But I see no record date. I see absolutely no record date. And I'm on page 146. I mean, their revenue numbers are fantastic. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff here. Datalogic is a great company. And then the companies they acquired are terrific. That's all good. This Battle Bridge is amazing. Financing activities selected. Okay, summary. This isn't right. This isn't right. Okay, August 24th, convertible note for $5 million. The note will be converted into 281 common shares of DLQ, which will be exchanged for 1,600 merger consideration shares. It's a nice payday if you can get it. Hey, we're friends of you. Let us screw the company. Look, we already knew that they were taking an enormous pound of flesh, enormous, probably making a profit of $20 million. In and of itself, we already knew about that. Doesn't mean they're not thieving bastards. Do you know how hard you guys work for money? All they have to do, oh, we're friends. Oh, we'll lend out of our portfolio, and here, let's chop it up, and we'll get it at a discount. We'll get it first, and then we'll have a claim on everything. And until we make our money back, we can take over the whole company. Otherwise, we get to get out in the squeeze, and we're going to make $25 million, and Bob's your uncle. But we're your friends. Scumbag friends, as far as I'm concerned. But luckily, as I understand it, although we'll find out, if they got their $5 million back, there's no ongoing trouble. But I heard they are taking a risk holding their shares, which it sounds like to me the risk's on us. I'm telling you, everyone on Wall Street is a scumbag. I feel sorry for CEOs. They have to navigate this. And then the lawyers are all scumbags too, because the lawyers don't deal in truth. They don't deal in what's right and wrong. They deal in, oh, let's do this and get away with that and get away with that. And hey, we'll sign that. And they just want to get there. They just want to get paid. This Jeffrey Tierman gets taken advantage. He's had over 30 years of experience. He's French. He went to school in Switzerland. Great. He got his executive MBA program at the Lausanne and Tepper School of Management, Carnegie Mellon, Pennsylvania. That's pretty good. He lectures. He gives lectures focused on risk assessment. He owns an MBA in corporate tax and accounting from the University of Arkansas. Good for him. Nima Matsari, 21 years experience working with small companies. Bermuda, midcap, Brownstone Capital LP, an investment firm. Floyd Associates. Instrumental in raising capital. Research reports. He's written research reports. Clean energy, defense, counterterrorism, and natural resources. He's an economist. He's conducted extensive research on international trade, openness, and economic growth. Thousands of historical bilateral trade figures in an attempt to discover statistically significant correlations between openness to trade and real economic growth. No wonder they call it the dismal science. I'm an economist. He holds a BA with honors in economics at the University of British Columbia and a master's in finance and accounting from the London School of Economics and Political Science. He knows how to run a company. Christopher Hart, another 30 years. Big Four audit. Leader in PwC's, Enercom, anyone? PwC's service group, SEC services group, foreign and domestic registrant. Extensive experience. Internal controls. Sarbanes-Oxley. Many years. Directors. He's an advisor to Cavan & Co. LLC. He holds a BA in business at Furham University. And he's a CPA out of Ohio, Georgia. And he serves terms on the President's Advisory Council of Furham University and Georgia Tech. He's got a lot of experience running companies. Amy Wall, our Vice President of Operations, 20 years experience. Rhodium Capital, London. She served as the financial accountant, controller, and back office manager for the SEC regulated Talisman Capital. John Wepler. He's a director. He was the CEO of the FINRA registered broker-dealer Marshberry Capital. Mr. Wepler's leadership and industry experience have benefited many industry professionals in an insurance career spanning 3 decades. He's a vital resource in M&A, stewardship, charitable, in demand, keynote speaker, Council of Insurance, Chubb Wharton Executive Leadership Trading. Mr. Wepler owns an MBA from Kent State University and a bachelor's degree in finance from Ohio University. Joseph Shotland, 20 years of experience. Innovatus Capital Partners, an equity firm focused on growth and distressed opportunities. Bain & Co., MBA in Corporate Strategy and Finance from Columbia University and a BS in Economics and American History from New York University. Nadine Watt, Director. Ms. Watt served on the board at Fisker, an eco-friendly electric vehicles manufacturer. Ms. Watt played a key role in launching Watt Company's acquisition division, Watt Investment Partners, which now actively invests $60 million in a variety of property types across the Western United States. Ms. Watt is a member of the University of Southern California Board of Governors, real estate, named chair, board member. She's a visionary woman of the city. Graduate of Georgetown University School of Foreign Service and a Master's of Art in the design school. No, sorry, the School of Cinematic Arts from University of Southern California. All right, that's your Aubrey team. They'll be all part of the NewCo. They're each going to own a heck of a lot of stock. I won't embarrass them, but they're all going to be millionaires. All right, Aubrey, authorized capital stock. Aubrey will have 100 million shares. Oh, they use BDO. The financial statements will be reviewed by BDO. Those in the know use BDO. Okay. Annual meeting next, doesn't say, doesn't give it a specific date. Okay. Nice financials, very nice financials, excellent financials, I think. Nature of the organization and business. Blah, 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 blah. Aubrey SPAC, notes to financials, initial public offering. All right, related party transactions. I'm just going to skip over that. Commitments and constituents. Stockholders' equity deficit. Fair value. Income taxes. Have to go to the guy that's written a research report on whether openness in economic markets leads to trade. Okay, registration statement at $10 per unit. All right, that's all old stuff.
Into the forehand of Echeverry, the forehand of Djokovic. Echeverry with a forehand. Down the line is Djokovic hits the backhand cross court. Echeverry backhand goes again to the back of Djokovic. In the forehand of Echeverry. Into the backhand of Djokovic on the stretch. And hits a winner down the line. Nole 30 love. So if Boris come on in 2014, so he won Australian Open twice in that time, a French Open, two Wimbledons, and a US. So he won 6 Grand Slams in that time.
I can't find a record date.
I mean, look, did Boris Becker? If you take Boris Becker away,
okay, this is Frazier and Dieter CPAs.
Djokovic would have 18 slams, and without Boris
That's
Becker,
good. Frazier and Dieter.
Boris Becker did help him, but I don't think he made him.
Here's
I think
DLQ.
he was already a beast.
Okay. All good. Let's see what the value is if they gave a value.
Hang on, let me check again. So Djokovic had.
They have a loss per share. That makes sense. But did they give a value?
How many slams did Djokovic have pre-Becker?
No.
1, 2, 3.
And there is a good valuation model here, which we can go
6
over.
slams. Okay, I'll take it back. So Becker won. Becker.
Okay, acquisition. That's Battle
Slam
Bridge.
count. So that's definitely not nothing. It's like Patrick Mouratoglou come on with Serena, turned her into a goat. So I would say Becker definitely had a chance. Like definitely, I'll take it back. Becker definitely.
Man, guys, this goes on and on and on. You shouldn't have to look this hard for a record date.
Because those results don't lie. Okay.
Okay, acquisition. No.
As we serve there, and it's an ace from Djokovic. 40-15. 40-15.
Okay, merger agreement as of September 9. Okay, here's the agreement.
40-15.
All right, let's see. Oh, God, it's long, but let's see what we can read. Merger agreement as of September 9, 2022, by and among Logic, and DLQ, Nevada, and Aubrey Spack.
Couple of interesting moments, but
DLQ Parent, Fixel, Fixel Israel, Rebel, Company, Tamble, Push, Battle Bridge are the group, the sister companies.
He jumped on Djokovic, won 6 Grand Slams.
All right,
14
Joko
1000s.
wins the first
Also
set.
won his first
I'd
French
much
Open,
rather be watching that.
only Grand Slam singles, which Becker never wins. So I think Boris definitely. You know what? This is how I would put it. Boris Becker.
Okay. Settlement date, record date. Let's just look under definitions. Record date.
Considered a threat to the GOATs.
Record date. LMNOP QR.
Because before Becker, Djokovic
Record date means the close of business on the date to be determined by the board of directors of the DLQ parent, that's logic, as the record date for determining stockholders of DLQ parent entitled to participate in the distribution, which date shall be the business day preceding the distribution date.
And 2015 season was an all-timer. Won his first French Open with Becker. So there's a lot of things that he did. So I would say Becker.
Wow.
Becker put Djokovic.
That's on Annex A10. Record date means the close of business on the date to be determined by the board of directors of DLQ parent. And let's just get the definition of DLQ parent.
You're confusing causation with correlation. There is no way to know Novak's career would have not worked with Becker. What? He had not worked with Becker. No, I do know because I have a time machine. I went down the timeline where he didn't have Becker and it was different. I have a time stone.
It doesn't really have a good definition.
Djokovic didn't have he didn't have as many. He only had.
Doesn't really have a good definition for DLQ parent.
Nadal had 27.
Common stock.
Okay. Echeverry serving first in the section.
Anyway, the DLQ parent is logic.
We don't know. Jesus.
So.
All right, serve out wide the 4 to Djokovic. 2 goes in the net.
That's the definition they have way at the top of this whole nightmare.
15 love.
Okay, so the record date looks like is very loosey-goosey. Record date means the close of business on the date to be determined by the board of directors of the DLQ parent as the record date for determining stockholders of DLQ parent entitled to participate in the distribution, which date shall be the business day preceding the distribution date. That's really weak.
30 love, by the way.
That's really weak.
30 love. Expecting more from Felix today. God, he had a chance to get the set point.
Record date and distribution date. Prior to the closing, the board of directors of DLQ parent, in consultation with parent, consistent with this agreement and applicable law, shall establish the record date and distribution date and any necessary
I love going down the what if timelines. I love it.
Or appropriate procedures in connection with the distribution, provided that the DLQ parent shall provide parent written notice of no fewer than 2 business days prior to the DLQ's parent's announcement of the record date to its stockholders.
When it comes to tennis, by the way, not in like life. Don't live with regrets and think, I should have done this. But in tennis, I think it's great. I think it's fun in sports to be like,
2 days.
Murray wasn't a different era, or What if Nadal wasn't around? Who would be a clay court king? You know, stuff like that. Fun stuff that doesn't actually matter. Not like, what if I didn't, quit my job or whatever. I don't know. What if I asked out that girl? Or you know what I'm talking about. All those what ifs that people live with, those two regrets. One day we'll find out. Here we go. Echeverry serves the back.
All right, let's skip through this as quickly as possible.
And the back of Echeverry, it's a wide, and we've got 30 all here. Djokovic cruising at the moment. 30 all. Crazy to think that Ruud would have been number 1 in the world had Sinner converted a match point against Alcaraz. That is insane. I love it. Casper Ruud was 1 point away from being number 1 in the world. That is a great way to think.
All right, can we get through this? Come on, please.
I love it. 30-0. First serve's a fault. Second serve. Did Diminor win? Yes.
All right, this might be the end of it.
So Ruud is coming on. Ooh, big match. 4-4 rallies. That goes in the net from Echeverry, and it's
all right, this is signed by Jeffrey Turman,
30-40.
Brent's son.
30-40.
There's a parent stockholder support agreement.
First game of the second. Serve is good. Second serve. Sorry, serve is a fault. Second serve. Second serve. Into the forehand of Djokovic. Return goes in the forehand of Echeverry.
Management earnout.
Echeverry with a forehand. Into the forehand of Djokovic.
Change in control.
With the forehand.
General provisions.
Echeverry on the stretch gets it. Into the forehand of Djokovic. The forehand of Echeverry.
Okay.
Backhand slice. Into the forehand of Echeverry. And it goes wide. Djokovic breaks. 1-love in the second.
Yay, a break.
6-3.
Lockup agreement.
It's so funny when Sinner out. What? Sinner didn't go out. What is
Let's see if there's a record date definition here.
All right. 1-love Djokovic in the second.
Nope.
Monica Seles is one of the biggest what ifs of all time. I know, right? Yep, that's a favorite what if. What is your bet? What is let's look, humor me for a second, Chad. I know some people are like, who cares? Come on, but it's having fun. What is your favorite tennis what if?
This is another annex.
What if Monica Seles
Page 124. You shouldn't have to look this hard for a record date.
That's a fun one.
All right, I'm going to give up on this. I'm on 139.
What if Nadal's injuries early on his career?
Second Amendment restated. All right, I'm going to leave it there.
Fans are like, no, we don't like that one.
I'm going to leave it there. Now,
what if Kyrgios had
if we
had
go
a mentality?
and we just simply Google,
I like that one.
if we simply Google record date requirement dividend, I'll just say distribution. When a company declares a dividend, it sets a record date when you must be on the company's books. Okay, we understand that. FINRA. NASD notice to members 0054. UPC rule 11140. X date, we understand that. Background, okay, we understand. But what's the rule? What is the rule?
What if Nadal and Djokovic weren't around for Federer? Would Federer have had 20? Would he have had 10?
Yes, we understand that.
Maybe 15, and then they would have called it quits. 15 all, by the way. Djokovic double faults. What if Rafa didn't miss so many slams with injury? Well, that's a good one. What if Borg hadn't retired early? That's also another one. So many people say that as well. Man,
I think they're going to have trouble.
If he didn't retire at 20.
I don't think they notified anybody.
That's true.
Anyway, I can't find any more information.
Serve out the forehand of Echeverry, backhand pickup from Djokovic. Echeverry hits a lob long.
Finger down.
What if Rafa hadn't had many injuries? That's true. What if the big three were all the same age?
Yeah, the vote date might have something to do. That's what I heard, Dos Equis. Somebody said that it's implied the vote date is the record date, but I don't see that. I don't see that.
What if Nole had won Wimbledon this year? Yeah.
But anyway, let's look where the stock's trading. It's down today.
What if Graf didn't retire early? Did Steffi retire early? I mean, early is relative, right? I mean,
Logic is trading at 18 cents. As far as I know, it's trading ex-dividend now. So that means at some point, you stopped qualifying for the distribution of data logic as CAUD. It's wholly inadequate what they did. Wholly inadequate. It's an embarrassment. Brent should be embarrassed. Just put out a press release. We voted. I read the press release to you. I think I did anyway. I can read it out to you. They put out item number 1. Let's see if it says here, submission of matter to a vote, item 507, on October 23rd, held a special meeting. 59, almost 60 million of the shares out of the 105 million shares voted. And the proposal number 1 to authorize the transaction to distribute DLQ. Will be affected through the merger of merger sub with and into DLQ, and DLQ surviving the merger as a wholly owned subsidiary of Aubrey. The vote went as follows, blah, 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 it won. And on October 25, the company issued a press release regarding the special meeting voting results. A copy of that press release is furnished.
Djokovic serves again. The forehand of Echeverry, return the forehand to Djokovic. Into the forehand of Echeverry. Djokovic comes in with a swinging volley, and Echeverry puts up a lob. Djokovic smash. Puts it away. Advantage. Djokovic to get to 2-love. What if Rod Laver hadn't gone to the Pro Tour and play the Pro Slams? What if actually?
Okay, so let's look at the press release. Press release says Logic announced that its stockholders have voted to approve the previously announced pending merger transaction. DLQ, Aubrey, blah, blah. The vote was conducted in a special meeting of Logic stockholders held on October 23, 2023. Which I took notes of, and they never set a record date. The vote was conducted in a special meeting held on October 23 for stockholders of record as of September 25.
Roy Emerson had 12 slams most of anyone. And then Pete took that record.
As of October 23.
Pete took that record.
It's talking about the shares given to Aubrey for redemption. So Aubrey will have 41,555 public shares common stock outstanding. Upon the closing of the proposed business combination, the company will be called Collective Audience.
Ken Rosewall had won a lot of Pro Slams too. What was a Pro Slams? Pro Slams were basically the tour before the Open Era, where people could get paid. So
the merger is expected to close in the fourth quarter of 2023, subject to customary closing conditions, including approval by NASDAQ of the combined company's listing application. There's no record date in there. All right, I'm bored with this whole issue. I've given it as thorough a look as I can.
And now the Open Era becomes tennis, right? What we know now. So that's sort of imagine.
Now I listened before Ham's call to HNRC, and I think it was Tim maybe asking me. I can't remember now. But I because Ham came on, I couldn't listen to the whole thing, so I'll go back over that. That didn't seem to help the stock. It's under $5 HNRC, but I'll listen to it, and we can go over that. Finger down 10%. Well, Ricky, the shorts sell stock that doesn't exist. They are able to sell stock without locating it. They can do it through Jeffries, maybe, and other places. They don't have to deliver. They can sell stock without locating. If they get in trouble, they can recruit real shorts, and then they can manipulate the stock price. They can put out crappy bearer research, and they can do this. They can steal from you every day, because Gary Gensler doesn't care. So my advice to you, Ricky Brogan, I'm sorry, is talk with yourself about how much Finger you want to own for the long term. But if you expect anything good to happen in Finger in terms of regulations, enforcement, it's not going to happen. Not under Gary Gensler. Gary Gensler allows the smash and grab of entire market caps in the over-the-counter markets. Why? Because he doesn't care. Why? Because it helps Goldman Sachs. Why? Because he wants to be Secretary of the Treasury under Hillary Clinton administration. So anyway, it'll end. I just don't. I'm tired of predicting when it'll end. That offer was GoLogic. Yeah, Brent's fighting the shorts, and I think Brent has built a hell of a company in Logic, in GoLogic. My frustration is with the manipulators. And don't you make any mistake. Any group that's a financer on in the over-the-counter market, they're lying to the CEOs. They're manipulating. And it includes the so-called friends. Well, I think Logic, I don't know the answer, but I've been told that the ex-dividend date, for lack of a better term, has already occurred in Logic. The stock's down to 16 cents. I expect it to go lower if that's true. I think you could see the stock a lot lower. I'm not going to sell mine because I'm not convinced there's been a record date yet. And I want to be on that record date. The company, NASDAQ, as it relates to Aubrey, over the count, they all are required to make an announcement. There isn't one. But I think that's why the stock's down. The shorts can sell Logic. They can sell the shell. It's empty. It doesn't have anything in it. And they don't owe you collective audience. So they'll just short it. It's all legitimate. It's all legitimate. I'm tired of arguing. It's all legitimate. They locate the shares first, and they have no problem borrowing from insiders. It's all legit. But we're heading into tax loss season. So everybody, every stock you own, it's not going to be pretty from here to the end of the year. I'm not going to do it today, but I'll try to come up with reasons why you can do different trades to take a lot advantage of the tax losses you have. In terms of Finger, I think that's the one that can move. I think that's the one that can have the upside. But there's no indication that that's occurring in any stock right now. This is when the short sellers they print money. This is when they're going to print money. And Gary Gensler has holidays. He's got his daughters to take care of, and he's done such a good job. He needs to do other things. I'm not pleased with the fact that Logic has not announced a record date. All right, on HNRC, I will review HNRC and come back to you with that. That's probably a stock to buy later in the year. MULN, 27 cents. MMAT, 11 cents. NVOS, 22 cents. ASPA, I guess we could look at that, 27 cents. So that's kind of, sorry I put you through the logic, but you saw me look, and I've been told there is a record date. I don't see it. So I think they still owe it to us. And that might be an opportunity to buy the stock, but I'd be really careful buying the stock because I've been told there is a record date already. And I think that we need an explanation on that. What's that, Heath? 1031? 1031? Is that for Logic? That could be, Jeff Kahn. That could be. You have a point. You have a point there, Jeff Kahn. E-Trade shows the X date is 1031. So that's yesterday, right? Is today November 1? Yeah. So that's yesterday. That's yesterday. All right, I'm Heath, I'm gonna show my ignorance. If the X date was yesterday, 10/31, I think the record date would be October 29th. Just going by what you said, because it's T plus 2. So you'd have to buy it by the 29th, settlement on the 31st, X date today. Well, if the X date's today, I'm not as upset. The reason I'm a little upset is I told several people to buy the stock. And it's unfair to do an as of. But if the record date, the X date's today, Wednesday, then you should be okay if you bought on up through Monday. That's great, Heath. Thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, I called him. I called him. Nobody is enforcing the rules. Nobody is. Nobody is. It's just so frustrating. Let me see what Tom said. Sorry, Tom, it's frozen. It's frozen. Tom, thoughts on thugs playing out full games? Yeah, I think I'll let you guys go listen to the other bought and paid for guy. But absent some sort of event in Finger, which, Tom, I think is coming, but I just don't know when, and I'm tired of predicting when. You cannot predict when Chinese bureaucrats and organizations are going to act. I don't know what example to give you, but in general, in China, you're trained to raise your hand, be called on. You don't blurt out questions. And when you ask a question, it's very respectful. In the United States, at least up until the recent version of progress that we're experiencing, we've enjoyed the ability to raise our hand to ask any question we want. I think anything that happens with Finger will be slowly. SLOW. But I think when it happens, it's going to be really good. So people that own the stock, I think, just have to just take a deep breath and say, gee whiz, all that hype, nothing happened, but I still own the stock. Thank God. I'm going to wait. People who lost money in calls like I did, just have to say, well, I might do it again. I might not, but I missed the train. That one's going to happen without me, or I'm going to buy February calls. I'm not going to get into whether it happens in November or not. I'm not going to get into it. November expiry is 2 or 3 weeks away. It could be December. It could be January. It could be bloody 2030 before the Chinese act. But when they act, they'll act with alacrity, if that makes any sense. In terms of GTII, I think GTII is tied to Finger like this. Look, Finger could change tomorrow. Finger could change tomorrow. It could open up at 15. I'm tired of predicting anything. All all the criminals have to do. You get people at the American Stock Exchange, the New York Stock Exchange, back offices. There's no naked short selling. Come on, there's systems in place. There's compliance. Just don't tell me about it. It doesn't happen. Okay, it doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. You get CEOs protecting Jeff Lind. Hey, he's a great guy. Great guy. Great guy. Hell, every company he's ever helped goes to zero. But hey, naked short selling doesn't happen. When Lind Partners finances a company, it goes up. So if you can live with those untruths in your head, the market's a great place to be. But Tom, I really think we have to just try to come up with a strategy, and I'm too tired, clearly, the last few days to do it, just to try to make some money. There are some ways to make some money November, December, and maybe in the January effect. We can claw back some money. And there will be other stocks that rally and you can make outsized returns. I don't see it on any stock you own right now except for Finger right now. It's the only one I see it. Everything else is going to be under pressure. Logic. I love whoever just gave me that answer. If the X date is the 31st, that means this week. I think everybody that bought Logic if that's true, and I should know that answer. But I just want, it's nowhere. But anyway, if that's true, anyone that bought the stock prior is going to be very happy with Logic. But what we're waiting for is the announcement of the ratio on Data Logic, which is going to be CAUD. I'm telling you, it's going to be 12-1, not 9.25. Just some more dilution. Just do another deal with the smiling faces. Hey, they're friends of ours. All right, let's do business with them. The SEC takes well over a year, longer than it took to build the Empire State Building, to get approval through. So the company needed money. Hey, they're our friends. Let's use them. Okay, so let's see. There's a shekel for you, a shekel for you, a shekel for you, a shekel for you. We'll lend you $5 million. We'll make $25 million, and we can spread it out amongst our friends. How's that? That's what happens on Wall Street. And I'm not blaming Brent. He had to do a deal. Otherwise, it all drifts away. The shorts win, and then it all goes into morass. And Professor Angel says, it never happens. Jim Cramer in his fat ass says, caveat emptor. Buy. Sell. Buy. The crook, in my judgment. The whole game is rigged against you. And somewhere along the line, the devotion to the Democratic Party, which used to be a party of the poor, the working class, the people that were striving, the people who went and got educations, fought in wars, firemen, first responders, policemen, house painters, line workers, steel workers. It became the party of the elites. You go to that school for women and become president, you don't shave, and you become the putative next president of the United States. Only when it doesn't work, anger everywhere. The whole country falls apart because it was that person's turn. But in the meantime, the banks bought everybody from Bill Clinton onward. And so we sit here expecting to have regulatory coverage over our investments. You guys shouldn't have to worry about your investments this way. You shouldn't have to. There should be a cop on the beat. But Gary Gensler is bought and paid for by Goldman Sachs. His previous boss, Hillary Clinton, bought and paid for by Goldman Sachs. I'm just tired of it. I'm just tired of it. Just tired of it. So I don't know what to tell you guys. I like that, David. My thing is freezing. I can't, here, I'll try to click. It's not working. I love that the GTI dividend will catch them out. I'm going to keep fighting them. I'm very tired right now. All right, I got to go, I think. Before I hit this, damn it. All right, guys, I'm going to sign out. My system has lost all memory. It's going to fade out. We'll have better news tomorrow on Logic. I will get updates, and we'll leave it there. So blessings to everyone. Prayers to Jenny L. And from last week for Matt Kay and his father. And prayers to each of you. And thank you for joining in.